My name is Sindre. I recently switched jobs. I used to work as a systems engineer with a software development team. Now I work with DevOps full-time. Back when I was in my old job, it always felt like DevOps was some sort of utopia that we would never be able to actually reach. And by that I mean the full-on Wikipedia definition of DevOps, which felt really far-fetched for us. But upon reflection, as I was leaving the organization, I actually realized that we had progressed quite a lot. Even though it felt like we were in the Stone Age, we had actually come really far. We had adopted a lot of popular tools. And we were actually, we came quite far when it came to DevOps, even though we never reached the full Wikipedia definition. And that idea really triggered my curiosity because I started to wonder what it's like for other companies and other development teams, and if they feel the same way or felt the same way. And so I reached out to some organizations that I assumed had made the transition to DevOps, and I asked them some questions about how and why they became DevOps, and if they had some sort of magic moment of realization when they suddenly realized that they had become DevOps, and if there were like any sort of like eureka moments to that. And I also asked questions about the initiative, if it was something that came from the developers themselves or the engineers, or was it management. But the answers I got were mostly that we're not proper DevOps yet, or we haven't reached the full-on 100% across the organization DevOps. And that kind of broke the whole thing for me because I really wanted to have some eureka moments, wanted some success stories where people would say like, yeah, we did A, B, and C, and then we reached D, and then we were full DevOps, and then we celebrated, and then life was perfect. But I did speak to some very interesting people. I spoke to Øyvind. He works at Microsoft with Office 365. He says that they've been working systematically with Agile and DevOps for years, but they still haven't reached that magical moment just yet. They have all the tools ready. Same goes for Line. She works for Nav. She says that it's a large shift, but it's been very beneficial to everyone, and she thinks that they will be full DevOps soon. And what they all say is that parts of the organization, more specifically some teams, have adopted DevOps, but not the organization as a whole. And recently, the State of DevOps report came out, and they had a large survey that covered large parts of the world, mostly with Europe and US respondents. They classify their respondents according to their levels of DevOps maturity, and the majority were in the medium scale, which meant that they utilize or they practice DevOps to some extent, but not fully across the whole organization. And even those who say that they are highly evolved are still, like the majority, still just practice DevOps within multiple teams within one department or across one single team, and not the organization as a whole. And that's interesting. So I started to look into why. So I found some numbers. I realized that Gartner actually do have some numbers on that, and I do like to seek out facts. And they say that the biggest challenge for an organization's expansion of the use of DevOps is actually people issues. So that means that it's no longer the technology that's holding us back from adopting DevOps. It's people. And they say in an August article that people, not process, are the most common cause of DevOps failures. So that means that we can't just blame our systems anymore. Another quotes here are that many organizations invest in DevOps tools without addressing organizational change, and also that the tools are not the solution to a cultural problem. I think that's very important to keep in mind, and it's very sad for my old friend PHP CEO, my favorite Twitter account. Even though he's installed Docker, that does not mean that he's become full DevOps. And I think he might have to do something with his organization as well. And that's it. Thank you.